Hey guys, this is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. Hey, today we're going to talk about my favorite subject, which is sales. All right, we got a cool subject for ourselves, and today we're going to talk about selling and using common sense. Okay, it sounds pretty weird, selling and using common sense. It sounds like common sense stuff, right? Well, here's the reality. I've been in sales in one form or capacity, customer service, since the 80s, and I'm going to tell you what, I have seen a lot of people in selling, and I've been one of them that didn't use common sense. And you're probably saying, what in the world's that's got to do with selling? Well, listen, let's just say, for instance, you got a customer. They purchase something from you. And when they purchase something from you, the company kind of dropped the ball. They've had some issues, they're like tissues, and they never got taken care of. So the customer is so frustrated that, if they would have been taken care of on the front end, they would have been definitely happy on the back end. And unfortunately, we live in a society today where we want the money, we want to go ahead and get services started, we want to sell something, but a lot of times the ball gets dropped and people cancel services, and instead of taking care of a situation that could have cost maybe $100, you end up losing thousands and thousands of dollars because of a service issue or a complaint because the customer had never been taken care of. My name is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. I told you I'd tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the warts and all that's got to do with selling, because I love it so much. I've seen a lot of things in my life as far as being a salesperson. I've worked with some really good companies that were in business for 50 years, 100 years, 75, and they went out of business because, they forgot about using common sense. One of the common sense things that I've learned as a salesperson is to keep things very simple. See, if we are the type of people who like to go and dive into major details, we're going to lose a lot of people as far as customers are concerned. Because in reality, they only need so many features and so many benefits. That way they can make an informed decision. But if you go too fast and you give them too much information, they get this glazed look over their eyes like, I don't want to buy this because I don't know what the heck they're talking about. They give me too much information. That's just simple common sense. When I first got into sales, I used to speak, blah, 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 blah. Hey, you want to get this? All a little bit. I was in a hurry. And yeah, I sold a lot of stuff, but hey, man, common sense dictates that if you slow down a little bit, daggone sure going to sell a lot more. And you'll have customers that are informed instead of buying stuff that they thought you had said, and instead of actually getting what they got. They ain't real happy about that. I tell you the whole truth now. And if you're a salesperson, good common sense says you get up every morning, you take your shower, you brush your teeth, you comb your hair, and you get ready for a good day. Now, a lot of people, I'm one of these kind of people that I like to learn more about the selling craft. I like motivational materials. I'm always learning. I'm always wanting to learn more, and I want to be the best. And how are you able to do that if you don't, like a doctor, go back and study? You got to study the craft of selling. That's just common sense. Our topic for today is selling and using common sense. Just say, for instance, if you're a business owner and you got your salespeople and you're sending them out there to sell stuff, and then y'all drop the ball because of particular reasons, customer service issues, or you got the wrong telephone numbers that are being given out, you got materials that are old or materials that don't work anymore, or you may not even know, hey, what your salespeople are actually doing out there. That's not good common sense. Good common sense is you don't want to micromanage, but what you want to do is make sure that you take care of your salespeople, your customer service people, and your management, so that way they can make wise, informed decisions too. Because without a good leader, it's really hard, and you have high expectations, but if they don't know what you need them to know, it's good common sense to just go ahead and let them know. It's just really, really good. And don't dictate like you're like an authoritative figure, because in this day and age, people don't like that. People like to be treated with love and respect. And respect is a big, big deal. Because if you got people out there making you money, honey, or saving your business and customer service, you daggone want to use good common sense and to try to treat them with the respect that we deserve. Now, I'm saying to you salespeople, you better be nice to your managers, and you better not not be slackers, and you better not try to just do the minimum, because that ain't good common sense. They give us a job. Employers give us opportunities. They give us products that we can sell. So good common sense dictates that we do our best and always treat our customers, our management, with the respect that they deserve. It's just good common sense. Now, let's just say, for instance, you're a manager and you have projects and things that need to get done. Don't tell your salespeople, hey, it's not my privy, get somebody else to take care of it, because that ain't good common sense. A lot of times, crap comes from the top and it goes down, but sometimes crap goes all the way back to the top, and a manager can lose their job because, hey, they didn't use good common sense. Because just check this out. If you had a product and this product was delivered or set up in the home, and then they never had any no experience, a bad experience, and they've been calling or they've been sending out information saying, hey, listen, I need help and I ain't getting it. It ain't good common sense to go ahead and let that fester like a doggone disease and destroy a community, because you might have other customers who are in that same community. And you sure don't want to lose a lot of good sales because of something small or something that could have cost you less than a couple of $100s to fix. And I know that's the cost of doing business, but see, customers are not worth just $100. They're worth thousands of dollars. Thousands and thousands, some millions. That's just good common sense. My name is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. I told you I'd tell you some things that you may not talk about or may not even think about. But selling is so important to me. I want you to be successful. Boom, boom. Here's a little fist bump. Just use good common sense. Just remember, when you're doing your paperwork, make sure your paperwork is all accurate and the information, the telephone numbers are correct. Make sure the credit card numbers and so forth, social security numbers, everything is correct. It's just good common sense. So when you dictate that information back to who it needs to go to, they can transpose it and make sure it's done accurately. If you're a salesperson, you're just getting into selling. First off, I would probably say congratulations, boom, boom, you're going to do real good. You just have to remember to use common sense. I got a little book. I write down all the things that I want to learn. I have a lot of questions and stuff that I like to ask, so I write everything down, just giving you a little bit of common sense. And remember, good common sense means you want to hang around with the winners, not the wieners, the people who can make a difference in your life. So if you have people that you see that are mediocre, run like hay. Now, they might be real friendly to you and everything, because birds of a feather flock together, but good common sense dictates hang around with the winners, and I guarantee you'll learn from those winners. Now, I didn't say manipulators, because there's a bunch of them out there, and use good common sense when it comes to dealing with people that are manipulators. Stay away from them. Learn from people who are successful, but also people who care about customers, because that's just good common sense. Because I'll tell you what, when I first got into selling, I was all about the money. I didn't have any common sense. All I thought was, I got to sell this, get as many sales as I can. And you know what? I did. I got a bunch, but I wasn't using good common sense because I didn't get referrals. I didn't know how to ask a lot of good questions to be able to have a continuation of a sale. Because remember, when you have a territory or an area, you end up going back out to those territories and those areas over a lifetime. And if you don't take good care of your customers, it ain't good common sense. Remember, taking care of your customers on the front end, the middle, and the back end is a big deal, because see, they'll either tell, if you do a good job, they may tell one or two people. But if you do a bad job, they're going to tell everybody, hey man, this guy ain't doing a good job, he's terrible. They're going to get in touch with your manager and say you ain't doing your job. That's not good common sense. So we want to use good common sense. And remember, you got to love the one you're with. And I'm telling you, sometimes you don't get a chance to talk to too many customers, and good common sense says, hey, let's slow down. Let's have a selling conversation and talk to these people and close the sale. And the reason being is because a lot of times you might be knocking on the doors and stuff and you don't talk to nobody. Or you're calling people over the phone. And good common sense dictates that, hey, if you get a bite, reel them in. Talk to them for a little while. And I ain't saying stay on there for hours and get into all day business, because you got to have a little bit of a rapport, and then you just tell them a little bit about what's going on. And customers want to invest in stuff. They want to own stuff, especially in good common sense reasoning that they can use it. If they can't use it, oh no, it's not real good common sense to try to sell to them. You got to feel people out. You got to find out if people can even buy. I tell you what, when I first got into sales, I remember going to people's houses and talking to people. They didn't even live there. They couldn't even buy the product, and I was wasting my time. But see, I didn't know about common sense and using common sense to buy, help people buy stuff. You just have to ask probing questions that are going to be able to make customers make a decision on purchasing something and ideas. Now, another thing is good common sense is to learn your product. Now, you're going to have on occasion one of them kind of people that, they want to know every single thing about your product. And if you don't know, good common sense to say, well, I don't know. But write it down and say, I'll get back with you on this if this is really important. And a lot of times it's just a smoke screen, so that way they can kind of fill you out, see if you're any good about what you're doing, and if you know your product. But listen, good common sense means that, hey, listen, I learn from my company, I learn from my mentors, I learn outside of the box thinking. That means I go outside of just the people that are in my company and I do my research. You can go online all the time. Now, I got hundreds of videos on everything there is to know about selling, and good common sense says you might want to watch them. The reason being is because I've been there, I've done that, and I've seen a lot of things in my selling career, and I share from my heart. This is what I do. And when I talk to you, I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to old Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. Because I'll tell you what, I'm a real salesperson. I deal with it on a daily basis. A lot of people can tell you about how to sell, but unless they know how to sell, they ain't got no common sense. They're just sharing what they know. Now, like I said, I love sales, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, one of the key things that I like about selling is if you use your common sense when you're talking to customers, you'll be able to walk them through your selling process, and help them and you overcome objections. You're using good common sense, and they're more intense to buy. Now, remember, good common sense dictates that this is also what they call a numbers game. The more opportunities, the more people you see, the more business that you can get. And that's just good common sense. My name is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. Okay, so we're talking about my favorite subject, which is selling. But in reality, we got to look at our whole lives. We got to make sure that we do our routing, setting up our days, our schedules. That's just good common sense, because you don't want to go from here to here to here to here to here to here all over the place, because I've been there and done that. So there are different types of programs that you can use, like Road Warrior, which is really cool, and they give you the capability to route your day. Now, I'm not pushing them, but I'm just saying it's a good tool. Now, you can also use other things, and I'll be more than glad to help you. My name is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. We just had a very simple conversation about selling and good common sense. So go out there and sell something, but if you ain't asking for the order, you ain't selling. Good common sense. Tell you, that makes real good sense. All right.